Let's see how we fill up the income from house property, that is the rental income that is received by renting out of property for the old tax regime or the new tax regime in ITR-4. Before we begin, viewers, please note that in case you have rental income from more than one property, then you will not be able to file ITR-4. In that case, you will either have to file ITR-2 or ITR-3, but you won't be able to file ITR-1 or ITR-4. Further, in case you have one house property, then you should ideally choose ITR-1. But in case you have a business income as well, only then you can choose ITR-4. In this case, we presume that along with the rental income we receive from the property, we also have a business income. And that's why we are able to file ITR-4. Now let's see the checklist of details that we would need to fill the house property income. The first one is the rent received during the financial year 2024-25, which is rupees 5,40,000. Municipal taxes paid during the financial year 2024-25, that's rupees 2,500. Interest on housing loan paid during the financial year 2024-25, 1,32,600. Viewers, please note that in case you do not have any housing loan pending, in that case you will not be needing this detail. Only if you have a housing loan pending before you, which you pay every year, then in such a case, such details would be required in case you want to claim an exemption. Other important details of the housing loan that are required to be disclosed from this year are as follows. You would be needing the name of the bank or the financial institution along with the loan account number, date of sanction, total loan amount sanctioned, outstanding balance as of 31st of March, and the interest on housing loan paid during the financial year. Now let's move to the return filing offline utility. Let me open that. Viewers, please note, I'll be using the income tax return offline utility to file the return. However, you can also use the online utility, that is, you can fill the details online as well instead of using the offline utility. But since it is more convenient for me to use an offline utility, I would be using that. And I have already downloaded it on my laptop. In case you don't know how to do it, we have a separate video for that. Do remember to have a look at that as well. The link to that video is mentioned in the comment section. So let me move to the income tax return filing offline utility, which is on my desktop already. Here it is. I will click. Click on File Return and choose either of the three options to pre-fill data. Now once you pre-fill the data, this is the page that you arrive at. The first thing that you need to do is fill part A of the general schedule, which contains the personal information of the taxpayer, such as name, contact details, bank account details, and one of the most important thing is the option to choose from the old tax regime or the new tax regime. Once you fill in this schedule, you move to the second part, which is filling up the gross total income schedule. Since filling up the first schedule is very basic and easy, I am not covering this in this video. So let's click on the gross total income. Under this, go to the income from house property schedule and click on edit. Now select the type of house property. Since we have rented this property out to a tenant, we would select let out. Had we not rented it out to a tenant, we would have selected self-occupied. Since we have rented it out to a tenant, we would click let out. The gross rent received is 5,40,000. The taxes paid is 2,500. And interest on housing loan is 1,32,600. This is a non-editable field. Let's see what it says. Please fill details in section 24 clause B table. Okay. So let's save this first. And we see a schedule right below the income from house property schedule, which is this one, section 24 subsection B. Let's click on this and click on add another. Now you fill in these details. Loan account number, date of sanction, we'll have to select it this way. Amount of loan, loan outstanding, and the interest on borrowed capital. Now all the details are filled. We click on save. Now before we save, let me tell you, this is an additional requirement that has been introduced from this year's return. That is, this was not required in earlier year's returns. This is a new requirement and hence will have to be compulsorily filled. So make sure you have these details handy before you start filling up your return. Now click on save. Before we confirm this, let's check again. Yes, this has been auto-populated. Great. Now we save this and then click on confirm. Great. So this is how we fill up the house property schedule in ITR-4.